Hello, greetings, and welcome to a special follow-up Top 15 video for the Best of the Rest mods of 2021. We originally, featured the Top 15 mods for Morrowind just way back in September 2021. But obviously we missed a few, and there's been a number of high-quality mods released since then, with over 1,200 mods released in 2021. So today, we're doing just a companion piece video featuring the Best of the Rest, graphics, gameplay, dungeon, questing, and content mods released in 2021. You can find a link to the original Top 15 video just, right down below, along with downlinks, timestamps, modding guides, and tutorials, and just everything else that you might need to get your Morrowind install ready for 2022. And speaking of, this year is Morrowind's 20th anniversary, and depending on when this video airs, we do have a major modding competition just currently ongoing. Between May 1st and June 2nd, we're hosting the Morrowind May Modathon Month modding competition. The same competition we host every year on the Nexus, and basically, during this time period, you can release mods, Morrowind mods on the Nexus, unlock achievements, potentially earn Steam games as prizes in our random drawings, and, just tons of other stuff that we have going on throughout the month of May. If you'd like to learn more and how to participate, you'll find a link to our announcement thread just right down below. And, speaking of, while you're down there, we do also have a Patreon, and, if you'd like to, support the channel and our efforts to build up the Morrowind modding community, that is one way to support us. But, anyway, with, all that out of the way, let's begin with number 15, the dungeon mods of Hashur, Smuggler's Cave, and Hiram's Rest by PF Cacklefanny. Two absolutely superb and beautiful dungeons. These mods will take you on new adventures through ancient, collapsed tombs, deadly six-house-infested ruins, and positively atmospheric caverns. Just, full verticality and smugglers for you to face and fight. Far from being the largest dungeon mods released in 2021, Hashur, Smuggler's Cave, and Hiram's Rest still managed to provide just two highly detailed and scenic dungeon environments for you to, discover on your adventures across Morrowind, providing an experience more, comparable to that of Skyrim's dungeons and the decidedly less exciting dungeons of vanilla Morrowind, which is all the more impressive when you consider that these are the first two mods that PF Cacklefanny has released. A promising start for a talented new dungeon modder. If you're looking for new adventures or dungeons to delve through, these two mods are just absolutely worth your time. But moving on, for number 14, we have the town mods, Izzy Cities, Caldera, and Izzy Cities, Ald'Ruhn by Izzy. 2021 will probably be remembered as the year of town overhauls, with an estimated 40 new mods released in this category alone, accounting for about 3% of all new mod releases in 2021, an insanely high number in percentage for a category of mods that normally sees new mod releases in the single digits in a given year. And so many of them, like Izzy Cities, have just been fantastically high-quality mods, uniquely redesigning both Caldera and Ald'Ruhn, changing their city layouts to be more logical and slightly more urban, while still just managing to, maintain that vanilla feel and atmosphere. Both mods include just lots of cluttering and detailing to just, add some life to these previously just somewhat dead-looking settlements. And both mods also include new, just stunningly beautiful-looking buyable player homes, with a ton of neat little scripted features like lights so you can actually turn on or off, which are just, a lot of fun to play around with. And in such a competitive year for town overhauls, I really can't say with any certainty that they're the best overhauls for Caldera and Ald'Ruhn, but I can say that their evident quality, does make them just worthy of consideration, and, for being on our top 15 list here. Next up, for number 13, we have just another dungeon mod, Better Doom Interiors by Silent Jacket. Like many of the dungeons in the vanilla game, the dual ruins of Morrowind can be, can just be a bit of a mixed bag, with more than a few having that sort of, cookie-cutter feel of just a rushed-together dungeon that doesn't have really much in the way of a unique environment or an exciting dungeon delve for you to go through. Enter Better Doom Interiors, a new project that aims to transform the dual ruins of Morrowind to make them just more individually distinct, unique, and engaging. And while this is a new project that so far only covers the ruins of Arkenthand and Nukaleft, it is one that is in active development, with regular development updates posted on Discord. And, what has been covered so far looks pretty fantastic. Certainly just a major improvement over the vanilla game. If you're looking to improve the experience of just, a handful of the dual ruins in your game, this is definitely a project with a lot of potential that's worth keeping an eye on. Coming up on number 12, we have the items mod Fashionwind by Ruffin Vanguard and Safebox, and also the Modder's Resource Framework Onion, Layered Headwear and Facial Wear, also by Safebox. At face value, this might seem like just a simple items mod, but Fashionwind, combined with the Onion framework, has just so much more potential than a simple items mod that it's honestly just a bit insane. But, first, to just briefly go over what Fashionwind does, it basically just adds about a dozen or so different types of eyewear, such as glasses, shades, monocles, and goggles to the game for you to buy and wear. But when combined with the Onion framework, what these two mods manage to accomplish is really just quite extraordinary. Because the Onion framework adds all new armor slots that specifically cover various different aspects of the face, allowing you to wear glasses without having to actually remove anything else. And Onion adds new armor slots for face paint, eyewear, facewear, earwear, lipwear, nose rings, and headwear, allowing future mods to potentially just add all sorts of new cosmetic additions to your character, without taking up any existing armor slots, which is, really just pretty revolutionary. And of course, this even supports NPCs, so you can, give your companions some stylish shades or spectacles for them to wear on your, various adventures across Morrowind. And really, this is just a fairly exciting mod just for the potential it has to be utilized in future mods. And that alone makes it worth having on this list. But going on, for number 11, we have the Atmospheric Immersion mod and graphics mod, Glowbugs by Milk Your Dog. A simply fantastic atmospheric addition, Glowbugs, and, as you may have already guessed, glowing insects to the Bitter Coast and Ascadian Isles regions, which will just come out during the evening and nighttime hours, just depending on the weather conditions. These charming little fellows tend to prefer those warm, balmy nights by the sea, and swarms of them can be found just flying around bogs and along beaches in both of, Morrowind's southernmost regions. Not only are these, a scenic addition to the game, but much like you can in Skyrim, you can actually, snatch these glowing insects just right out of the air and harvest them for their sweet, sweet thorax meat, which you can then use to brew potions of light. Each region has a unique type of glowbug with a slightly different hue and color, making for just a really lovely atmospheric boost to each region. And this is truly just a really, really fun mod to add to your game. allowing you to just live out your childhood fantasies of, running around and catching insects in the middle of the night. But without the awful, awful smell that was, typically associated with catching glowbugs. But moving on, for number 10, we have the companion, questing, and town overhaul mod, Arvesa and Armigers' Tale by Orion. By far the most in-depth companion mod released in 2021, and arguably one of the most fleshed out companion mods of the last 5 years, Arvesa provides you with just a new companion that you can recruit during your first mission to Arkanthand, as part of the Morrowind main quest. She's integrated almost, seamlessly with the main quest, providing just a lot of unique dialogue interspersed with your various missions for the Blades. But, she does also have her own story, dreams, and also ambitions. Similar in many ways to Julian. Arvesa has hundreds of unique greetings based on locations and factions, a number of dialogue paths, full companion features and commands, an optional romance path, and perhaps only, tangentially related, a full overhaul of the fortress town of Malag Mall, providing just a fairly scenic makeover and expansion to this frontier canton settlement. This mod is still very much in development, with more features expected in the future. But as one of the biggest and, most fleshed out companion mods of recent years, it's more than worthy of being played for yourself. Next up, at number 9, we have the dungeon, questing, and landmass mod, Silent Island by Billy Fighter. Pirates, ancient buried cities, terrifying encounters, boss battles, a devious plot by the Sixth House, atmospheric island environments, and positively dangerous dungeons. Silent Island is by far and away the most unique dungeon adventure mod of 2021, and that is no small feat, given just how many amazing dungeon mods were released last year. Designed as a Silent Hill-inspired horror mod, Silent Island adds just a new landmass with a sinister 6-house base that you'll be invited to try and fight your way through. With some truly innovative and unique scripted boss battles and special encounters, and a dungeon design that incorporates both large areas that you'll need to fight through, and platformer sections that you'll need to just carefully navigate, Silent Island is just truly a dungeon delving experience like no other from Morrowind. Giving you just a really memorable experience that will not only just test your mettle for survival, but which even includes a new ship-based player home for you to unlock with new companions that you've gathered from your journey. This is one of the most impressive dungeon mods of really the last decade. And it's only due to the sheer quality of dungeon mods released in 2021 that, it isn't ranked higher. And regardless, it is definitely just worth playing for yourself. Now, up to number 8, we've got a trio of UI mods, specifically Seph's Only Bars, HUD Customizer, and Inventory Decorator by Sephumbra. Released back in December, these 3 mods are just truly a revolution when it comes to the HUD and UI, adding tons of convenience features and customization options that just really give you the ability to fully customize your HUD to your personal taste. Perhaps the biggest of these visual changes is from Seph's Only Bars, which finally allows you to see the health, fatigue, and magicka of both your companions and your enemies updated in real time, just by looking at them. No longer is it a guessing game to try and figure out just how much health your companions and opponents have, which is just truly a massive convenience boon. Seph's Inventory Decorator, on the other hand, adds just a lot of visual cues to the inventory, with colored backgrounds to indicate equipped and botted items, effect icons on enchanted weapons, potions, and armors, and outlines for item tiles to just, better improve, inventory organization. All of which can just be toggled on or off or otherwise customized. And a HUD customizer is really just pretty self-explanatory, allowing you to adjust the position, size, width, and length of just every component of your HUD. From your personal health, magicka, and fatigue bars, to magical effects, equipped weapon icons, to the mini-map, and even HUD components from other mods like Ashfall and Stealth Improved. This is simply a fantastic set of UI mods that are just great for better visualizing your HUD and inventory. And personally, I do really highly recommend them. But moving on, for number 7, we have a set of town overhaul mods with Mika's town and city overhauls by Mika. This is actually a set of 16 mods that together overhaul about 19 towns and cities across Morrowind, which makes Mika's town and city overhauls just one of the most thorough, comprehensive, and consistent visions for, overhauling Morrowind's towns and villages, leaving only just a tiny, tiny sliver of towns uncovered. I think, technically, the only towns that Mika hasn't covered are, Vivek, Sadrith Mora, Ghost Gate, and that might actually just be it, unless I'm forgetting something. So, that means that everything else, from Dagonfell to Talmora to Ald'Ruhn, Bolmora, Sedanine, Saran, and so on and so forth, have been overhauled by Mika. And these just have some just truly, absolutely gorgeous and cozy atmospheric designs. Each of Mika's settlements just, feel truly lived in, each with a unique style of clutter and detail to make each town just stand out on its own, without feeling like a copy of any other settlement. There is unquestionably just a high degree of quality here, and with so many towns and cities covered, this could even be considered just a competitor to beautiful cities of Morrowind, and even Morrowind Rebirth, at least as far as town overhauls go. Honestly, this should have been in our original top 15 list of the best mods of 2021. But unfortunately, it was, set to hidden at the time, and has only relatively recently been brought back. But, I think there's no question that this collection of mods is just top 10 material, and definitely worthy of your consideration. I wish we could just showcase more of them here, but with 19 cities overhauled, there's simply far too much to feature. So I'll recommend checking them out for yourself. They are just absolutely worth your time. For number 6, we have the graphics replacer, all books color-coded and designed by Xero Fox. This is just a massive graphics replacer for the hundreds of books in Vanilla Morrowind and its 2 expansions, giving each just a unique cover related to the content of that book, often with visual references to the story, decorating the cover. And each book is also color-coded just based on what category it falls into, such as, religion, fiction, history, research, poetry, and so on and so forth. Given that the books in Vanilla Morrowind did not have unique covers, or even necessarily related color coding, this mod is just a massive boon to book hoarders like, me, who like to obsessively collect and organize books. And really, the quality of this mod just should not be understated. We haven't had a truly just new book replacer in years, and this is the first modern book, replacer for Morrowind, with just excellent high-resolution graphics, detailed matching inventory icons, and really just everything that you might want in a book replacer. The graphic design here is just really superb and top-notch, and, if you're in the market for some just truly beautiful books, this is just, absolutely the mod for you. Next up, for number 5, we have the gameplay and character generation mod, Ahead of the Classes by Danae and Moorlord. Arguably, the ultimate, just class-based character generation mod, ahead of the classes adds roughly 100 new classes for you to choose from when creating your character, each of which just comes with new starting equipment, special abilities and powers, magical spells where relevant, and MWSE skill buffs for just, any mods that you might have that add new skills to the game, like, Ashfall or Morrowind Crafting. There's a lot of, dare I say, synergy with ahead of the classes, with just tons of automatic support for other mods, like Terry Built, Waterlife, Mudcrab Imports, the Assassin's Arsenal, Ashfall, Morrowind Crafting, the Gua Whisperer, and just over 24 other mods, so, you might get items or equipment from those mods as part of your class's starting equipment. There's even a new perk system that's been added in, so, about every 10 levels, you can get a new perk, power, or ability, and just, overall, this is simply the best mod out there for creating new characters. It simply gives you just a lot more options and a lot more ways to properly start the game. Though this is, kind of just an abbreviated look at ahead of the classes, and if you want a proper showcase, we do have one linked just, up in the cards somewhere. Going on to number 4, we have the graphics mod Vapourmist by Tillau. A simply amazing visual atmospheric enhancer for Morrowind. Vapourmist is an MWSE mod that dynamically spawns 3D clouds and mist at varying heights across Morrowind's landscapes. Depending on time of day and weather conditions. That means that you might, encounter such just atmospheric scenes as walking into a misty fog bank if you're out and about in the early morning hours, or potentially go hiking into the mountains only to see clouds parting around a nearby Dwemer tower, or any of 1,000 other just stunningly beautiful scenes as you travel across Morrowind. Because of the dynamic nature of this mod, it'll work with virtually just every other content mod out there. Meaning you'll see these clouds and mist in Terry Built, Skyrim, Home of the Nords, Province Cyrodiil, Lithuania, or any other province or landmass mod that you just, that you happen to have installed. And the atmospheric potential here just really cannot be overstated. It takes one of the better atmospheric graphical effects from Skyrim and brings it into Morrowind. That said, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that there is, an OpenMW mod in a similar vein that's currently in development. I don't think it's been released quite yet, but, it uses post-processing shaders to also create these dynamic mists and cloud banks. But regardless, Vapourmist is just a truly fantastic mod, and one I personally really highly recommend. Coming up on the final 3, we have the graphics mod, Lava, Mold, Mud Caverns Revamp by SVNR. Easily and by far the best graphics replacer for the Caverns of Morrowind, this is a complete replacer for the Lava, Mold, and Mud Cavern tile sets in the vanilla game, which together account for over 75% of the game's caverns. And the quality here is simply beyond the pale. Where once there were only simple geometric caverns, typical of just early 2000s graphics, now there's a hyper-realism to these cavernous spaces, high-poly graphics more akin to Skyrim than Morrowind, with support for both normal maps and PBR or physical-based rendering. Not only is this just the best graphics replacer for Morrowind's caves, but I'd argue that this is actually just one of the best replacers made for Morrowind, period. It is such a simply gorgeous replacer that really makes these caverns feel like real places. SVNR has crafted just an absolute masterpiece, and as you may recall, not for the first time. We showcased SVNR's Imperial Town's Revamp just, way back in our first Top 15 video. And both sets of replaces are simply amazing with what they accomplish in the Morrowind game engine. If you're looking to just really amp up your graphics to just the absolute max, this is, without question, really just a must-have mod, and just another one that I would highly, highly recommend. I know, I'm saying that a lot, but you know, this is a top 15 video. What do you expect? Yes, a lot of these mods are worth having. But anyway, on to our penultimate mod. We have number 2, the Dungeon and Quest mod, New Ilunibi by Sealoff. The absolute best dungeon mod of all of 2021, New Ilunibi is a massive, sprawling overhaul of one of just Vanilla Morrowind's main quest dungeons. Rebuilding it from the ground up with just massive, massive new areas for you to explore and fight through. Tons and tons of that sweet, sweet verticality, a handful of new quests for you to, discover, and lots of little things for you to find. The original dungeon of Ilunibi was honestly just a bit of a forgettable experience, another, dull set of confusing 6-house caverns that you had to trek through for the main quest. But where the original Ilunibi was an odious set of tedious delving, New Ilunibi is an exciting visual feast for the eyes, with huge open-air chambers full of depth and height, atmospheric lighting, waterfalls beyond counting, and ancient ruins, and not to mention the bones of some long-forgotten beast. New Ilunibi is an absolute triumph of dungeon design, excelling at combining just, the very best elements of both Morrowind's and Skyrim's dungeon design. With so much atmosphere, verticality, a fantastic sense of discovery, you'll spend hours delving through New Ilunibi, as much admiring the scenery as fighting foes and looting treasure. Sealoff has quickly become just one of, if not the best dungeon modders for Morrowind, releasing not just the best dungeon mod of 2021, but also the second best dungeon mod of 2021 as well, which we showcased in our original top 15 video. And as I record this, Sealoff is getting ready to release another massive dungeon mod in 2022. And I, for one, cannot wait to see more, but regardless, New Ilunibi is absolutely with your attention, and personally, I consider it to be a must-have mod. And I know that's getting just a bit repetitive to say, but, hey, it's the top spots in a top 15 video. It's going to happen. Finally, our last mod in our Best the Rest, we have number 1, the Gameplay, Crafting, and Items mod, Morrowind Crafting 3.0 by Drag and Takata. Simply put, Morrowind Crafting 3.0 is the biggest crafting mod for Morrowind, allowing you to craft virtually everything in the vanilla game, as well as just quite a few things that weren't in the vanilla game, and a ton of stuff from Tamriel data. Adding 9 new skills to the game that, you can level up just like your normal skills. Morrowind Crafting allows you to build furniture, craft masonry, sew together rugs, pillows, clothing, and sacks, cook food, brew liquor, make poisons, fletch your own bolts and arrows, take up glass blowing, basket weaving, and woodworking, mine raw resources, smith your own armor and weapons, and just so on and so forth. Fairly well integrated and balanced with the vanilla game, Morrowind Crafting 3.0 gives you just a true crafting experience for you to practice and, eventually, master. Gathering the materials you need to make anything you could possibly want, and giving you the ability to finish and decorate your homes as you so desire. With a fully just functional crafting menu and support for, items from Tamriel data, this is simply the ultimate crafting mod from Morrowind, and it is, still being worked on and improved. So you'll likely see just even more crafting features coming in the future. Of course, this is a very, very abbreviated look at Morrowind Crafting. It's a big mod, And we actually have a full 20-minute showcase of it linked just right down below, in case you want a more in-depth view of everything it does. But regardless, in terms of size, scope, and impact, Morrowind Crafting is certainly just one of the best mods of 2021. And if you've ever wanted to do a bit of crafting, it is just, absolutely worth playing for yourself. And that's the last of our top 15 Best of the Rest mods of 2021. It was such a fantastic year for Morrowind modding, and with any luck, 2022 will just be even better. But in the meantime, as always, you can find down links for all the mods shown today, just, right down in the video description below. And before we leave off, just, allow me to thank our patrons, including Aesthetic JMac, Area 5, /Symbolmean, Billy Fighter, Kiwi, Cyprinius, Danae, Daliant, Danina, Dennis, 418, Yame, Alcazo Castornau, Julian, Corridor, Langasteer, Macbone, Melchior Dog, Moolord, Michael, Mr. the Joshman, Null Cascade, Old Navy Twidget, Opera Jack, Port Q's, Povio Holo, Raven Talon, R. Fuzzo, Riz Alith, Shadow Banished Wine, Shuda, Soka Cat, Stiff Kitten, Telvani with 8,000 nicknames, 2-time Trauma Root, and Xero Fox. If you'd like to join them, check out rewards, including early access, behind-the-scenes content, and access to polls to just, decide what kind of content we showcase, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/MorrowindModding. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.